Hi everyone, today we're going to see a topic in grade programming and data structures. Today the topic we're going to look at is switch case. We got 1 minute to solve. Let's look at the answer. So switch case. So now switch case, it's one type of, so it's a decision. One sort of like you can think like this if else and while and do while, all of them they were taking, there was some control flow, right? So you can think of switch as one type of control flow. So in the case of switch, whenever we have like some certain value, right? If we want to have like a certain set of rules that so we have some rules, rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. So we want some expression, some value we want to test. So we have a certain value and we want to check it against certain rules. So switch is perfect for that. So in switch case, what happens is that we have many cases which test against the value. So we give different rules if this, whatever we give to the switch, if the value is this, do this. If the value is this, do the next or this. So it's basically like with one value itself, we are able to test against multiple rules. And going to get different results based on that value or some expression if we give. Remember that in the switch, right, we can give some expression. But whatever we are passing in this case, right, we need to always give some constant value. This expression, we are testing against a set of constant values. And based on the constant values, we can do some set of statements. Let's look at the questions. So now here in the question, what we gave to the switch was one value. So the rules are going to be evaluated against the value of A. So let's see. So here we have 4 values. A is 20, 10, 30, 40. So let's look at the first value. A is 10. So here we have a case statement. Case 10. Now, when it goes to the first case, when it enters the switch block, right? This is the switch block. So when it's entering the switch block, the first case it says case 10. Case 10. So 10. It is checking if value 10. These both are same. Yes, both are same. So now we will do the set of statements. A plus equal to 10. A becomes 20. Now break. What is this break gonna do? So break is one way of when you want to exit a certain part. Like if you had one set of statements, like one, Suppose you had a set of statements. If you wanted to come out of this, that is when we use break. So in a switch case, we will try to put a break in every case. So if a case has a break, it comes out of the switch. That is the end. So the output we're getting is 20. That is one scenario that the CSE match had a break, so it comes out of the switch. So suppose a case didn't have a break. Let's look at that case. So now the value what we're giving is 20. So it does next time. So next time, again, we're going to start from the beginning. Switch off 20. This time A's value 20. It checks case 1. Is 10 20? No. So it goes to the second case. Case, yes, it matches. Now A plus equal to 10 becomes 30. Now look here. There is no break. So what happens in this case? So we saw in the other case, because there was a break, right? It was jumping out. It just ended just at that time. But here there is no break. So what happens? So now the switch case, right? Like it doesn't know where to go. So it will just evaluate all the expressions till it reaches this end braces. So now you see, right, there is some bad behavior. Maybe intentionally you didn't want to do this. Like when you see case 20, maybe that rule you wanted to exit out of the switch, right? So always remember to put a break. So this is one way you can have it. Other way, maybe you wanted to evaluate, like if case 20 happened, right? Maybe you wanted to evaluate all the statements after that. So that time you don't need the break. Okay. So in this case, since there was no break, now it goes, it increments by 10, becomes 30. Now next case, it matches case 30 and becomes 60. So in this case, because there was no break, right, it evaluates everything. So actually, even if this case was not matching, right, it will still evaluate. We'll look at that case in the next question. So the value what we're getting is 60. Okay, let's look at our next case. So suppose the value of is 40, okay? Now A is 40, doesn't match this case, doesn't match this case, doesn't match this case. Now the only option is default. So in switch, right, you can give many rules, but what if that value, that expression or that constant value, whatever is inside the switch, right, doesn't match anything. So in that case, we have something called a default. It happens in case nothing matches. So default A is equal to 0. Now note here, again, there is no break. So whether it's a case statement or a default, always remember break is needed. Otherwise, it won't exit the switch case. So since now there is no break, it is going to evaluate all the statements after the default. So A is 0, A becomes 10, A increments by 30, becomes 40. So now you see this, right? It's not when no break is there, right? It's just going to evaluate everything. It's not even going to check the case. So just remember that if you have a certain set of rules and you only want one case to run, just make sure you put the break. So if you want some other behavior, like what we saw in this case, right? Every case you want to happen after some certain matching case, then you don't need to put break. Automatically, everything after it, it will run. So we get the value as 40. So another way, suppose the last case, whatever value we got was matching to last case. Here, there is no break, but there's no statement after it. So anyways, it is going to exit. So here, there is no different behavior as the other two cases. Let's do a quick review of what we learned. So today we were learning about the switch case. Switch case is like the control flow, like the for, do, while. So switch takes inside one expression, or you can have some constant value. Like in this question, A is some constant 10, 20, 30, 40. And inside the switch, right, we'll have a set of rules. And these rules are what we call the cases. And each case, remember, we can only put some constant value. No float, no double, just a constant integer. And it cannot be an expression, only a constant. So we have a set of rules. Now, suppose some rule is matching. Now you need to exit the switch. How do you exit the switch? We use the break condition. So when it sees the break statement, it immediately exits. But we saw, right, in some cases, 20 and 40, right, there was no break here. So what happened? If there is no break, it just continues. All the cases after it. You can think of some program where you wanted to do some computation, but the other rules do some printing or something which you need. Some extra set of cases you want to run, then you don't need to put the break. It'll just evaluate everything. Remember that evaluation, when it's happening, right, it does not look this value, whatever value we had. And suppose whatever expression or constant we gave inside the switch doesn't matter. What happens then? It goes to the default. And remember, if default also doesn't have a break, then again, we evaluate everything till we reach the end of the switch. Thank you.